class. My name is teacher Jonate. I'm from Gulu. I was teaching in Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School that is found in Gulu. I am a teacher of history and political education, and today we are going to look at political education and history in advance. As I told you before, my name is teacher Jonate from Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School in Gulu. Today, we are not going to look at something so far or so deep, but today we're just going to look at some of the basic skills of which we can use to answer history papers. Today, we are going to take a look at one scenario, and this scenario is just going to be easy and simple. Now, in tonight's lesson, dear students, I really want you to be keen, and listen very well and carefully, because this is where you shall get knowledge of answering your papers that is forthcoming. As we proceed, sit clear and listen to this scenario. The scenario says, one parent of a senior one boy complained before the head teacher that although the government, through the National Curriculum Development Center, abbreviated NCDC, has reduced the subjects taught at all levels, but still he complained that the subjects are still too many on our small boy. He went ahead complaining that the subjects left on his small boy would neither benefit his small boy, and he was arguing that the head teacher should make sure this subject is removed. Now, dear learners, in this scenario, if you see into it carefully, you see that this scenario is not very hard and is not very tough. It is just easy and simple. So, in this scenario, we see that there is a problem, and this problem must be solved. And, dear learners, for you to answer history papers very well, you read the scenario. When you read the scenario, you identify the group of people you are seeing in the scenario that might be having confusion, and either blame them or not blame them. It is upon you. You see which one you can put blame on. Like for example, this I can say this scenario they are talking about. There is a parent, and there is a senior one boy, and there is the head teacher, and there is the National Curriculum Development Center, that is NCDC. Now, these are basically the personnel for the organizations that are in this scenario. So, we will go ahead and see which one could we put blame on. The scenario said this parent went to the head teacher complaining that these people here, although they have removed some subjects that are taught at ordinary level, the subjects are still very many on his small boy who is a senior one boy. So, it means that it is this parent that has complained that is complaining to the head teacher. So therefore, it makes us to feel and think that this small boy of senior one has no problem. And we also see that since the parent is bringing complaint to the head teacher, then automatically head teacher has no problem. Then we also see that since this group or this organization are the ones that have removed the subjects, they have no problem. So, leaving parent alone. So, this parent automatically will have a problem because he or she is the one complaining before the head teacher. Let me hope you're understanding. You understand? So, today we are going to see how we can basically answer this paper of history. Now, that is having problem, so he or she is the one to be blamed. So when now we have put blame on the parent, we now go ahead to answer our question. The question says, the task says, you help the parent to understand why history and political education was left among the ordinary level curriculum. So, in this scenario, we see that when we read it carefully and read the task, we derive that it is that the question and the scenario demands us to make the parent understand the benefits of history and political education to his or her small boy. Now, as we move further, as we have put the blame on them, on the parent now, so we are going to go straight to our responses. Let's say, response to the task given. Now, in the response to the task given, we are going to say, we are going to look at that person whom we have put blame on. So, we are going to find how to fix solutions to help this person that we have put blame upon, so that he or she can be able to understand the benefits of history and political education to his small boy. Now, how are we going to put it? Our introduction. Now, our introduction can be put in very many ways. One, since we know that this parent has no knowledge about the history and political education, we can therefore introduce our response by saying lack of knowledge by the parent about the benefits of history and political education. Or we can even say limited knowledge by the parent about history and political education. So dear students, we are going to say limited knowledge by the parent about the benefits of history and political education. So, with this, you have introduced your response very well, and with this, you are prone to earn marks. Now, if you have done like this, you shall go ahead to define. You make the examiners know that what are you talking about as being history and political education. So therefore, you must go ahead and define what is this history and political education. And you must only define it in a brief explanation. Not with too many words. Just give brief explanation to show that you know exactly what you are talking about. Like for this case, you can say history and political education is the study of past events and civic matters. Therefore, you have defined it in the shortest term, or even you can define history alone and you define political education alone. It's still correct. Dear students, if you have gone like this, you can now go ahead to say, you can go ahead to bring out your points, your explanations, your views, your ideas to make the parents convinced and understand that history and political education was left in the O-level syllabus for a purpose. Like for this case, we are going to say the following are the reasons why history and political education was left among education are of these very many benefits. Now, we see that history and political education has got very many benefits to students and teachers as well. For example, let's say history and political education. The study of history and political education, it is obvious that it helps a student to understand and pass exam and got academic excellence. Thereby, let's say, it help students to pass exams and get academic excellence. So, when you say it helps students to get academic, to pass exams and get academic excellence, this is not yet complete, dear learners. You are supposed to make us know. Now, when the student gets academic excellence, what next? How beneficial will it be to them? It therefore means when these students get academic excellence, they will now be in position to have documents that will allow them to acquire jobs in different institutions. Like we can say that, or you can say which would earn them job opportunities that can earn them a living. So when you say that can earn them a living, it is not yet over. You know, with history and political education, you are not supposed to be stingy with your answer. You should make sure that your answer is broad and large enough, because the broad and larger your answer is, the more marks you get. So from here, you give examples. Like you cannot say which would earn them job opportunities that earn them living. In what sector? You can say example, when teaching history and political education as a teacher. So you will find that when you say like this, in only one answer, you can get about 5 scores. So this drives me to say, in history and political education, you can only write different answers. You can only write not more than 5 responses in a question or in a task, and you are prone to get all the 25 marks that are given, or 25 scores that are given in your lab. So dear learners, today we are just sampled how we can go with the responses in the history and political education. In our next lesson that is to come, we shall go ahead and look at how best or how far we can respond to different items, different questions given in history and political education. But before we conclude this lesson, dear learners, I would like to give you an assignment. This assignment, it is that you should go and add more answers, more responses to this task, and we shall mark in the next lesson together. Thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you.